Should you intermittent fast? Now, there are some people that intermittent fasting just doesn't suit, and there are some people who I advise not to intermittent fast. Now, today I'm going to be splitting this video up into three different sections. First of all, what is intermittent fasting for those people that are unaware? What are the benefits to intermittent fasting? And then obviously to conclude upon, should you intermittent fast? So before I go any further, if you're watching me live right now, comment live down below. If you're watching me on the replay at any point in the future, whether that be later today, tomorrow, next week, next month, whenever that may be, you know what to do. Comment replay down below. So first of all, what is intermittent fasting? So intermittent fasting is a fancy name for most commonly skipping breakfast. Okay, the most common split is 16-8. 16 hours fasted followed by an 8-hour eating window. Now, the hours at which those fall upon really don't matter. Okay, so for instance, if you were focusing on the 8-hour eating window, that could be 12 p.m. till 8 p.m. It could be 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. It could be 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. Any hours outside of that 8-hour eating window, you are therefore fasting. Okay, so those are probably some of the most common splits. As you can see, like I said, it really is just a fancy name for skipping breakfast. Okay, so these hours can, they can fluctuate. They're not set in stone because obviously, nightly, evening routines do change a little bit. You might be working later some days, for instance. So there is not going to be any catastrophic damage if you are stretched by half an hour each way. Okay, so that's really the principle of what intermittent fasting is. Now, what are the benefits? What is the point of intermittent fasting? So there are two main benefits. Okay, the first is better control of your blood sugars. Now, because you're fasting for 16 hours, you're not eating anything, your blood sugar is dropping and dropping and dropping into what should be a healthier range because you're not adding anything to it, because you are not eating, which creates a lower average blood sugar reading, which creates a lower A1C, because your A1C is quite simply an average of your blood sugars. Okay, so that's the first benefit. Easier adherence. No, not easier adherence. That's the second benefit. Better control of your blood sugars. Okay, the second benefit is easier adherence to your dietary goals. Okay, so it is far easier to adhere to total calories and total carbs, regardless of whether you're tracking or counting total calories or carbs, when you are only eating 2 meals as opposed to 3, because if you simply take away breakfast and don't add those essential calories and carbs to any of the meals, then you are reducing your total calorie and carbohydrate intake. If you reduce carbohydrate intake, your blood sugars are lower. If you reduce your calorie intake, you achieve more fat loss. Okay, and if let's say you are counting and tracking your calories and carbs, if you was to spread, let's say 1,500 calories and 100 grams of carbs, if you were to spread those calories and carbs across a normal day where you are not intermittent fasting, you are going to have to spread those calories and carbs incredibly thin. When you do eat, you are going to have to eat fewer calories and fewer carbs, which means you have less flexibility. You are going to have to eat more diet foods. Whereas if you spread those same calories, 1,500 and 100 grams of carbs across 2 meals and 1 or 2 snacks, then when you do eat, you are going to have more calories and carbs to play with, to consume, which means you can be more flexible with the choices that you make. You can eat higher calorie, higher carb foods. You can eat normal foods. Okay, so to summarize the things we've just gone through, okay, the most common split is 16-8, 8-hour eating window followed by a 16-hour fasting window. The 8 hours itself or any of the hours don't really matter as long as you establish it and are relatively consistent. That 8-hour eating window could be 10 till 6, it could be 11 till 7, 11:30 till 7:30 p.m. It doesn't really matter. Okay, the two benefits: better control of your blood sugars because you're not adding anything to your current level of blood sugars because you're not eating anything to it. Over that time, they reduce into what should be a healthier range. The second benefit is easier adherence to your dietary goals. You are likely to consume fewer calories and carbs, therefore lose more weight and achieve lower blood sugars. Okay. Now, is intermittent fasting a magic tool or a magic pill? Absolutely not. It is a tool that you can use to help you if it suits you. I would say somewhere between 60 to 70% of the ladies that we coach inside of our one-to-one coaching programs intermittent fast. The other 30 to 40% don't, because it quite simply doesn't suit them. It doesn't suit them because their schedule maybe doesn't allow it. Schedule just simply doesn't allow it. The second might be it doesn't suit their personal preference. It is not worth eliminating breakfast because they simply enjoy breakfast. It really is as simple as that. It does not suit their personal preference. And last but not least, we all have somewhat individual peaks and lows in regards to our hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin. Okay. Some people wake up and they wake up hungry, regardless, to some degree. To some degree, they wake up hungrier, earlier than others, like myself. Okay. I don't usually gain much of an appetite until, 9:30, 10 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so it's quite easy for me to intermittent fast because then I've only really got to wait another hour or two, depending on my split. Whereas, like I said, other people wake up and experience an earlier appetite. When I say earlier, I mean earlier on in the day. Now, these people might simply struggle to wait, another 4-5 hours before they eat. So, these three reasons, and we're saying, schedule. If your schedule just doesn't permit, then it's probably not going to suit. If you enjoy breakfast to the point where you just cannot see yourself not eating breakfast, it's probably not going to suit. And if you're someone who experiences stronger hunger earlier on in the day, then again, it might not suit. Now, am I saying that it's not worth you ever trying it? Absolutely not. It doesn't cost you anything to try it for a week, 10 days, or 2 weeks. Okay. Because if it does suit, if you can, make it fit into your lifestyle, into your routine, into your personal preference, if it is worth it for the benefits, and if you can, not fight off, because that makes it sound really quite, the hardest thing in the world. But, if you can curb the appetite long enough for you to last, those hours in the morning until you break your fast, then fantastic. Of course, there are things to help that fasting period be as easy as possible. Utilizing carbonated drinks, for instance, okay, caffeine, drinking sufficient water, eating sufficient protein the day before, getting better sleep. All of those things are obviously going to aid in your level of satiety during those earlier hours. Okay, so a little bit of something to think about. Okay, I hope you found this helpful, ladies. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Otherwise, I don't want it to be too long for the sake of you guys. The shorter videos definitely get a better response rate because we're all busy, right? So I'm going to wrap it up here. If you guys have got any questions, any concerns in regards to intermittent fasting or anything else, comment those down below. If you found this helpful, comment helpful down below. Have a great Monday or whatever time of day it is that you're watching me, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon.